A lot of stuns, some silence. Flexibility is always nice as well. They haven't really revealed what Makoto or Dreamersaw are going to be playing quite yet either, so you've still got that element of surprise with the draft. But overall, pretty solid. And, it is one of those drafts that they do tend to run a lot. Like this Mirana, the Grimstroke, the Mars. We've seen it many, many times from Boom. This is what they know very well. However, Execration with this Earth Spirit pickup, we've seen BDZ. He does make some magic happen on this hero, so I'm very excited now.
John, jump in here, take it away. We're seeing this Earth Spirit, and then pretty much immediately the Riki pick coming out from Boom. Tell me your thoughts on these ones.
It's really potent. I think the combination on Boom's hand is just super scary. Inkswell on a Riki, jumping up from the Invis with a Blink Strike, instant stun, follow-up from your Mirana, follow-up from the Mars. Execration, though, with BDZ Earthspirit, we talked about that when the series kicked off. Like, this is one of the heroes BDZ plays amazingly well along with his Rubik, so they bring it out for the last game. And Execration also pick up a great way of kind of handling the Riki. Phantom Lancer coming through. You don't have the best AoE control to stop the PL from being big. Like, you've got a Stroke of Fate and God's Rebuke, but neither are really amazing. Like, the PL can still dodge a lot of that out. It's nothing like an LC on the offlane with overwhelming odds. And this should just give a lot of leeway for the PL to weave in and out. So they've got this massive win condition for Execration. Just get Palos big on Phantom Lancer, make space with your Phoenix Puck and Earth Spirit. They can certainly get that done, but you can't underestimate just how much counterfight Boom has on hand as well. They're pretty potent early on.
So that Earth Spirit is a little bit of a comfort pick, something that, obviously they're quite confident in. On the Boom side, how many comfort picks do you think are coming out from them, like things that are quite tried, true, and rehearsed for them?
The Mars, for sure, for FBZ is a big one. It's something he's played a ton on his offlane, and the Mirana as well. It's something that they're fairly comfy with. Not to the same extent that most Filipino teams draft that Mirana as often, but it's still something that Boom has dipped into. So I think those two heroes in particular are the standouts, and the Grimstroke. Like, this first set of picks, first three picks from Boom are within their comfort zone. The Rickies, maybe a bit of a step out. It's still open whether or not they want that for Dreamocell or Mikato on mid or safe lane. So there's some flex in closing out here for Boom, and they've got last pick overall, so they can really work that flex at its max potential here.
Yeah, definitely taking advantage of the final pick. Now, Mike, walk me through a few of these bans as well. We're seeing the Ember ban come out from Execration. How come they've gone with that ban? Is that a potential that Boom could be running?
Yeah, I mean, the Ember very good against the puck because you can lock it down with the chains. Also quite effective against the PL because you can go the Maelstrom build up and kind of clear out the illusions quite easily. And the chains are also very effective as well against the Phantom Lancer because you can just kind of lock him down. Don't let him doppel away. In fact, the Ember would have been a really nice pick here for Boom Esports and Makoto in general. And as far as I remember from Makoto, he does play a pretty mean Ember. So that would have been certainly a nice pick for Boom had they been able to pick it up, but naturally they won't have it now. I'm just curious as well, right? Like, with this draft from Boom Esports, they've got this Riki. I assume safe lane Riki, but into the PL, it feels weird. Like, I don't know if it's going to be enough. I do get a little bit concerned about this, because Execration now, unlike last game, they actually have a carry that will kind of outscale everybody else. So I'm curious to see whether Boom can play fast enough to make this Riki look really good against this PL.
Yeah, maybe they were watching our first series that we had, and we're like, oh, that Riki is actually pretty good. Maybe we should try and run him. Who knows? But we see the final pick coming out from Execration is gonna be that Underlord. John, what does this enable the whole Execration to do?
It just allows them to pick their fights a lot better. They've got a very stable frontliner now. They've got this combination with Dream Coil, with Pit of Malice, with Egg, so the team fight potential is actually really good. The only long cooldown they have to wait for is really Egg. Dream Coil's not that long once levels are up. So they've got a lot of uptime in forcing fights, and they've even got the safety of just bailing out if a fight doesn't work out. Like, you can just take the Uber home with the Underlord, get the Dark Rift off, bail out, and there's not much Boom can really do about that. Maybe they could close out with, say, a Kunkka to X mark one target back, but it doesn't really line up with Boom's draft right now. Oh.
It is going to be that Wind Ranger. So what are your final thoughts on Boom's esports lineup then, John?
I think the Wind Ranger is one interesting way to handle the PL, mainly because if you focus fire the original PL, you can just kind of chase the original one. You don't lose your focus fire. So you can keep track of the actual Phantom Lancer, try to burst him down. You can build from Maelstrom into Mjolnir, try to get some procs off, burn down the PL. You will have to play this one relatively quick on Boom. As Mike mentioned, you cannot rest. You do not want to sit back and farm. You have to hit these item timings, in particular for Mikado and for Dreamosol. Like the Riki has to hit the diffusal timing quite fast, and you want the early Javelin into Maelstrom here for Mikado just to enable that pressure on Palos.
I mean, that means that we have two very different lineups or drafts coming out of the two teams. You know, Boom, last game, we're going for that late game. Now they're going for a lot more aggression earlier game. And then Execration, who have now gone a lot more for the team fight. So, Mike, whose draft do you favor a lot more, and who do you think is going to be closing out this series?
It's a hard one. I want to say I favor Execration's draft. I think they may have come out ahead on this one. But Boom Esports, they do tend to run this kind of draft often enough that I'm confident that they'll do well. I do think Execration has the better draft, though, going into this game number 3.
Well, I will let you guys talk about it as you head into game number 3.
Thank you very much, Nat. Of course, we do go into game number 3 now. It is MLP Dota. Keep making these introductions for us casters because, you know, we were just on the panel, but force of habit, John. Speaking of force of habits, by the way, how you doing?
Doing good. It's been a pretty long day of great Dota, as you'd expect from TI Qualifiers. It's been way past Merienda time as well. Have not had the time to pick up Merienda, which is unfortunate. You know, a cup of coffee with a nice little snack would fill you up quite nicely. I'm sure Execration's had their fill of Merienda, hopefully to energize themselves in this game 3. It's been a good back and forth between Boom and Execration, but that's what you really expect, right? When you've got the Indonesians up against the Filipinos, it's always exciting, always explosive, and it's good to see both teams kind of bring out the best from each other in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Real pleasure as well. Like this draft from Execration, I know I talked about it earlier, but I do love the BDZ Earth Spirit. One of those plays where you kind of go back and look at the replays and just watch what he did to try and, you know, emulate BDZ when you get into your pub games. But, you know, naturally you always just end up feeding because you're not BDZ. Not that that's my experience, John. I'm just talking about a friend. Execration. I like their draft. I mean, I said it at the end of the draft that we just went past, and they've got a really good shot at taking this game 3 up against Boom.
Aggressive as well here from the Ruins.
Dream Assault will blink strike out. Go back to their respective lanes here. They are going to be up against this Underlord in the off lane. So you've got this Riki against Underlord. A really annoying kind of matchup here for Dream Assault. Especially once you've got a couple levels in that Atrophy aura. It just feels like you're not really doing any damage. BDZ naturally on the Earth Spirit will eventually just be able to leave the lane and start trying to create chaos across the map. You think Dream Assault, does he just do alright here? Do you think it's going to be a real struggle against Nico?
Pretty tough lane to sustain. Like, you've got options to play aggressive with XctN once you've got the Inkswell, but jumping an Underlord, especially once level 3 is up, can be dicey. And you're already seeing just how well Nico can shove the wave to kind of clear it out, keep the equilibrium in his favor. So you're going to just have to be a bit more cautious. Have to really watch where BDZ goes. Like, if he finds an angle for the roll on top, the damage output could be good, although BDZ's copping quite a bit and trying to man up against XctN and Dreamosol. And can't fully dismiss the damage output of a good Stroke of Fate plus the backstab, or at least the Blink Strike from Dreamosol.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're trying to be aggressive now while they still have the chances. You know, Nico, again, once you get those levels up on the Atrophy aura, it's going to be much more annoying. We do look at the top lane, where you will see Palace and RR against Hyde on that Mirana, and of course FBZ on one of his signature heroes being the Mars. Palos, you think he suffers here a little bit, John, on the PO? I mean, it seems like an easy enough lane for him.
Yeah, he can hold on. I think the one thing you watch out for on PL in the early phase of the game is Doppelganger has a pretty darn long cooldown, 25 seconds at level 1. You don't tend to level up as well. So if FBZ finds the opportunity to get the spear, the arrow follow-up from Hyde should be relatively easy to land, and that's where your kill opportunity comes out. Whereas for Execration, it's much more passive. PL plus Phoenix doesn't really have enough control to find kills. They've got decent damage output from RR, but with no way of really locking people in with the early damage from a PL, it's going to be a bit more defensive from them. So it's definitely better for Boom to look for those opportunities, and for Execration, they've just kind of got to sit back and kind of adapt to what Boom wants to do here.
Fair enough. Of course, the last lane, the mid lane, Makoto and Yoe against each other for now. Yoe just slightly ahead of Makoto by 1 CS, but too big of a deal here. Makoto, we've seen him on this Wind Ranger before. He has had mixed results. Against the puck, advantage.
Yeah, it's a bit better for the puck, I think, overall. Like, the one thing the Wind Ranger has nicely here is the fact that Wind Run gives you a good state to trade hits. So you can run up, Wind Run, get some hits off into Yoe, especially after you see him commit the phase shift, and you can win out that right foot trade, maybe look for the power shot on top of it. But otherwise, the puck is still relatively okay here. Where it gets interesting is home.
Big Inkswell out, BDZ dropping quite low, and Dreamer, so he's trying to chase him down, but he can't quite get in range. Instead, he will get the Blink Strike off, tricks to the trade, but he just doesn't have the damage. This call for both sides is XctN. He dropped extremely low himself, but just barely managed to get away, and well, First Blood is still up for grabs for either team. Seems like the bot lane is where the action's going to...
It's the most aggressive lane for both sides. You've got kill opportunities with the Underlord and Earth Spirit. You've got that Blink Inkswell that Dreamwhistle and XctN have been pumping out a bit more. You are getting some relatively good farm for Dreamwhistle regardless, but he's lagging behind that Underlord by 3 CS, but it's really what you expect, and all things considered, not too bad for the Riki. Like, the Firestorm harassment's a nuisance, but you've got some good regen on the Riki, so you can kind of sustain through the hits, and as long as you have the steady start coming out, I don't think you mind too much for Dreamwhistle.
Hyde, lane looking for a bit of a cheeky arrow. Palos gonna try and make a run. Arrow still available, and he does land it point blank to the back of Palos. A very important kill onto the PL. Set up there from Hyde.
Pretty big pick-off, really good twist first blood, and that's what we were talking about with the Morris and the Miranda. It's so much more aggressive for them.
XctN, he's going to try and run with the Inkswell on it. In fact, he gets out of there. Just with the low levels, BDZ, he could not continue the chase. Only level 1 roll available on the Earth Spirit right now, so XctN, while it did look like he was almost guaranteed to die, somehow makes it out.
Just spacing it out quite nicely. The burst damage coming through from Execration, it's not the fastest damage to fly out. It's not really bursty. It's sustained output, especially with Firestorm. So if you can find a way to just walk out, you're fine.
The arrow! It lands through the phase shift. It actually ends up connecting. However, Makoto, he's going to be the one in trouble. Hyde, the T1 tower's still going after him. Now the Icarus dive in. He really wants the kill, and he'll probably be able to get it. Well, it was going to be an absolute disaster there for Yoe. He just came out of the phase shift and the arrow barely connects, but it seems like in the end, Boom Esports are the ones that get overly confident.
XctN.
Being swell again, but this time they just coil him up, lock him down, try to just damage up before he does die, but XctN's gone. It's a great already for the side of Execration. 3-1 their way, and Boom, they have one of those drafts that does not want to fall behind. It's not too big of a deal yet, but you definitely don't want to be giving kills like this away to the side of Execration if you can avoid it.
Definitely not. It's a really good start coming out for Execration in terms of the movement coming out from the map. They are still lagging behind in terms of raw farm, though. Like, Palos, despite that space given out by the support rotations, isn't farming as well as you'd want him to on the PL, falling behind even our Riki right now for Dreamwhistle, so the core-to-core matchup is looking a bit better there for Boom, and they've got to kind of keep steady there. Like, you are winning out, You're not quite shutting down the Ricky as much as you'd want. You are keeping that Wind Ranger down, but at the same time, Mikado already has a Javelin, so he's feeling a lot better on the Wind Ranger as well. And if he does get a Shackle, Focus Fire now can actually lead to some kill opportunities.
Gotta pick up the brown boots as well for Makoto. Still farming very nicely on that Wind Ranger. Even with that earlier death, he really hasn't slowed down. In fact, top lane, nice arena setup on the Palos. Ara, there's only so much he could have done to try and help out, but Palos, all with his pants down, does end up paying for it, and the first kill of the game, set up by FBZ, but it does go the way of Hyde. There it goes. Ends up finding Keskut, so that this Grimstroke that's gotten away twice does end up finally going down. Now top lane, Dreamcaller's there. Yoe and Ara are gonna set up onto Hyde. They will at least get the Mirana for their trouble.
It's a decent pickup. It's at least going towards your puck. At least it's in the AoE, so you get some much needed injection in that puck, accelerating towards whatever Yoe would like next. Maybe the Witchblade, maybe something like Travel to be more active on the map. This is some space out for Mikado, and the brown boots are up. There is a smoke play coming through here, but I believe that must have been spotted out by the edge of that ward, so they know a smoke's happening. They should be sort of ready on Execration side for it.
Alright. Would love to take the gank, but Palos is going to get run in by Makoto. There's your doppel out. Power shot is there. Palos still just trying to kind of juke them away. But the focus fire going to be right on target by Makoto. Shackle out, locking him down. And it looks like he is set to fall, though. They are trying to help him out. BDZ does jump forward. However, you've got Hyde there with the Staff Water to get the job done. And now FBZ, he will manage to roll away. Not save his position 1 PL. This is the third time this game the Palos has died. Very bad news for Execration.
I love the focus coming out from Boom, though. They understand that they can jump this PL early, not many saves coming out from Execration, and at the same time, this gives so much space to Dreamwhistle. They're not able to bully out this Ricky in the bot lane. It's still free farm coming through, and they're going to need to do something about that. Like, you're just getting too much onto Ricky. The Diffusal Rush is underway. It's got 1 Blade of Alacrity coming in. And once you have that full diffusal up, that Ricky's going to be a major problem to deal with.
Mid lane, Dreamcrawl does lock down Makoto. BDZ looking for the kick out, but does not break the leash. It just won't matter though. He'll get the kill. Now Arrow does land. Hyde going to try and turn around BDZ. He's going to be alright as they've caught Yoe now. They've got the puck and they will trade the mid laners. Great little setup there by FBZ. In Execration, they just went a little bit too far, and if they had left, you find a great Wind Ranger pickup, but now you lost your puck, and this doesn't look as good.
It doesn't look as good. It doesn't feel as good. Trading a mid for mid is not ideal. I think the Wind Ranger is perfectly fine. You're not slowing down the Maelstrom timing all too much, and you're still freeing up space for the Ricky. Like, the Wind Ranger is not the target you worry about. Nice shackle on the dive, but you really want to kill Dreamwhistle off. Like, he's the one that's vulnerable. He's the one that should be basically a free kill if you catch him out with a root, but they're not really abusing that. Like, they've got the Pit of Malice up at level 3, no points in the attribute. So it's all about kill opportunities with the Underlord, and I think they've got to shift focus down towards that Ricky at some point.
Just haven't really had the opportunity, and Dreamwhistle, he's still just going fine. Hyde now even TPing down to try and set up onto Nico, but he'll go for the siege creep. Nico unable to really commit his own body to save that siege creep, and that'll slow down the push now of Execration down in the spot lane. Does have some backup coming in. Looks like Boom Esports are more than ready to go for a team fight if they need to down the spot lane, and Nico not really willing to fully commit to it. Kind of waiting in the tree line, being very patient as Yoe or Ben will boy off the mark. A nice trick trade out by Dreamwhistle, and he jumps in right into the back lines. FBZ, great arena round. They've already got the egg. They will find BDC on the Earth Spirit, and this is looking really bad for Execration as now Nico to try and run, but he's running right into the trees.
Oh man,
This is looking like a tough game, John. The Execration, the way.
yeah, they just can't execute the way they want. They started the fight with Dream Coil. They could just start with Pit of Malice. It's much more low committal. It's a lot better if you miss it, you're like, yeah, alright, it's a low cooldown, we can come back, rinse, repeat. But when you miss your Dream Coil like that, you just miss out on the kill opportunities. So you can't look for the jump in, the egg is unprotected, the arena is really on point, the patience there from Boom, they just clumped up 4 heroes in the back line. There was an earlier scan from Execration, but because of the positioning of Dreamocell, he was playing right on the edge of the scan while getting last hits. I think they might have not suspected heroes in the back line, or if they did suspect it, they must have forgotten in their haste to try to kill off that Riki, and that is the target you have to go for, but it felt like they needed to jump earlier when there were no other heroes around. So really good moves out from Boom. They get a good read on Execration, but Execration, they do smoke up. They might land a good kill here on Riki.
What they can do. Dream Assault. Been pretty safe so far in this game 3. It's like he might be just fine. Palos gonna spot him out there with the sentry ward. They know exactly where he is. He's gonna get into that tree line. The roll is gonna be off the mark. It does connect, and RR will make the jump in, but now the TPs are coming in. Boom. They might be able to fight this. Makoto, he's lining up for a shack when he does end up finding the PL. So they might lose Dreamacell, or maybe not Dreamacell. He's still alive. He's gonna be able to back out of there. BDC's the first one to drop. Onto RR they go. They should be able to find the Phoenix, and they do. How did he just walk out? Did they just...
I'm just as confused.
Just someone hit him.
Yeah, I think they lost vision for a bit. They panicked when the combination flew out onto Palos, and they immediately want to go for the retreat. And they didn't quite get their egg. It wasn't ready. They didn't have their Underlord around to face tank. Dream Coil was not quite in the position they wanted to. Already committed early on, so just not lining up the shots, and this is scary. Dreamocell bailing out. No deaths so far, 2 kills under his belt. The Diffusal Blade pretty much just 300 gold off. And that's the big spike for the Riki. And you compare Diffusal Riki versus Diffusal PL, I think it lines up fairly evenly. But in Palos' case, he's not under pressure to fight. Like, with a Diffusal, you might look for the opportunities, but the Riki, if he jumps in, gets the inhibit off, with a smoke screen on top, he has more solo pick-off potential. So I think you've got to watch yourself there. Once Dream Assault's ready to jump around, it's going to get a lot scarier for Execration. Of course, they're not too far behind. 9-7, 1k lead, really even on the board. It's just that it feels like Boom is finding the better trades and finding the better movement on the map compared to what Execration's achieving so far.
Smoke up, smoke right behind Nico. Young and RR going to try and find a target for themselves to go after. FBZ going to be noticed. Dream Coil going to be on the mark. Roll is there as well. The Inkswell trying to protect, but FBZ looking pretty tough there to me. He'll go for a spear onto BDZ, but it won't matter. A nice pick off there for Execration. Still, the rest of Boom, they are still farming just fine. And it goes back to that Diffusal Blade timing you talked about on Dream Assault, John. It is on the way right now. And this is where, if you're playing this position 1 Riki, you expect to start rotating across the map and making it a very scary time for the side of Execration.
I mean, you have to respect the PL Diffusal as well. Low arrow.
Off one right to the face. Dream Assault is there with the trick of the trade, and they just take him down. No problem.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It's a nice freebie to take, just building off immediate sort of pseudo reveal on the Diffusal. You have to admit that the timings are lining up for the PL as well. It's fairly even. Riki and PL both having Diffusals up, both going for the Manta style next. Just down to how far you want to play with this.
Dream Assault there with that Pit of Malice, but he looks just fine as Yoe is going to try and get some damage out, but Dream Assault is still going to be able to get himself out of there as now the Moonlight Shadow is out. Arena down, Palos, he's in the arena, but it looks like Boom. They need to back themselves out as Dream Assault. He does end up getting caught out, and now they found another. They do get high on the Mirana. So a bit of a messy team fight this time around from Boom. Execration able to come out on top. Finally give him a bit of breathing room as they move into that mid-tier 1 tower.
Radiant structures are fortified.
That's going to be a pretty tough defense here for Boom. No arena up. Teamfight potential is a bit low unless they can get a really good shackle off for Mikado. Could be a bit scary, but Execration, they're kind of playing it safe. They are still camping around that tier 1 area though.
TP's in from Boom. They're getting prepared to just defend this mid-tier 1. Still Execration, very patient. Just waiting for that right moment. Get rid of that creep wave there with Yowie. Dodo is going to make his presence known. Atos though, Nico does hold him down. Pitamalis is out. BDZ rolls in, gets a nice silence off, but he already got the wind run. It just won't mean much. They do burst him down. BDZ is going to have a look for another target.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Find that mid-wind range on.
Dire structures are fortified.
Back into that mid-tier 1 they go.
Just being really conservative though, not fully committing just yet despite that 1 kill advantage. They'd rather try to chase down Dreamersaw.
Oh, Dreamersaw, he's been caught out. He'll go for the smoke screen onto Yowie, but he is completely surrounded and there is no way out of this one. Boom Esports, after such a great start, are slowly falling apart. And Palos is top of the net worth board now, only followed by Yowie. Looking like a very bad time for Boom Esports if this keeps up. They catch another. FBZ now being caught out. They even commit the egg for this one. Just trying to lock him down. Another Pit of Malice Root. And the sun is going to fly him, but the Soulbind there is now out from Boom. The problem is they've already lost FBZ. Makoto, he's trying to go into BDZ, but he's been rooted up now. He'll get the kill and he'll make his way out. Still a very worthwhile kind of trade for Execration. Dreamer Cell now. Well, opening strike though in mid lane. Atos is down again. Onto Makoto, but he's going to be able to wind run his way out again as though Yowie will try and go in onto Hyde. He gets the kill, but now a great shackles out onto the small cap. They just lock down the puck and they will eventually take him down.
Yeah, it's a lot of back and forth from both sides. I think Execration should still feel a lot better though, even if they drop their puck. All the space coming up from Palos is leading to a really big return in their investment. Yasha up, Manta pretty much done, just lacking the ultimate orb 1.5k away. So you're going to hit these item spikes quicker than Dreamucell will, and that just means that the Ricky's not going to fare well against that PL. And you kind of talked about it in draft, like the PL is basically has no counter here from Boom's end. You have to rely mainly on Focus Fire on the right PL to kind of help you deal with that down the line, but we're seeing a lot of issues for Mikado and just staying alive in the front line, so it's going to be a bit longer until his own BKB's up to kind of take that front line for the team, take point, and targeting these heroes. And Execration can just abuse that. They're just all over the map. They don't have any long cooldowns beyond really Egg to worry about, so as long as they've got Dream Coil up, they can look for opportunities and take some fights.
They can. Execration, I mean, they're more than happy to take this into the late game if they need to. This PO and Palos, you know, he had a rough start, but he's having such a good game now.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Execration now is time to aggressively posture in that Radiant jungle. They might even go for a smoke here with RR. They will. No vision to scout that one out. And a BZ. Not going to be coiled, but I say that. Nico gets the run of Atos and now a nice coil. He will lock down two. Onto that Marana. Will try to burst down a Hyde versus FBZ. Will drop the arena and try to run his way out. However, the chase is on. Makoto now. Focus Fire out. Yowie, he's gone too far. He's going to die. Boom, they managed to turn this team fight around as now at Dreamer's Soul onto BDZ. We'll be able to get rid of the Earth Spirit and is looking for more already. He'll find RR, find another. Nico is kind of surrounded and that's a very nice shackles out. Makoto locks him down. A spear to follow up with the buybacks. They want to try and find. And BZ appears to be the target here. If I say that, they kind of leave him be. But eventually he does die to RR. Still a very good team fight out from Boom Esports.
I'm surprised Execration commits so hard for the buybacks and jump back in. They only find a Mars for their trouble, so that is what? A triple buyback coming out from Execration. Very costly investment for just the Mars, and I think Boom's going to be fairly pleased with that. Dream Cell shows up, gets all the kills he wants, starts to catch up here with Palos. So the gap between our PL and Ricky shouldn't be too far apart relatively soon.
You still see the signs of life, though, from Boom Esports. That last team fight just feeling very, very strong, and Execration still can't really feel too comfortable yet. Keep the farm up. Careful not to get caught out or overextend here if you are Execration. It's Boom now. Smoked up. FBZ, he has that arena. The initiation, Yoe could be a prime candidate, but he has spotted out the side of Boom. They'll go for the Rod of Atos. He's the Malice. Now Yoe being a little bit risky here, but able to orb himself out just fine.
That's I think the big thing for Boom right now is that they're looking for these opportunities, but they don't have the blink yet in FBZ. They need some patience here. Wait for the 200 gold he needs. Just get the blink up, and you get a solid way to initiate without having to risk your Ricky, without having to risk your Wind Ranger as well. So once that's up, it should lead to easier opportunities for Boom to land that combination, especially with Yule up as well. And you just need to wait. It's flying out in the courier right now. I think she should be able to at least start to line up some kills, although
Arena can be placed defensively there by Boom. Just not wanting to give anything away to the side of Execration.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Dreamer Soul still appears to be farming up on this Ricky, but now does have a Manta up. So the silence is not going to be quite as annoying for him as they used to be. However, I see an Aether Lens on Palos, and I know what's coming.
oh yes.
The Charlotte's Aether Lens build up on our Phantom Lancer. How do you feel? Do you like this, John? Is it a good game for it?
I think in this game you can get away with it, mainly because you don't have the best illusion clear from Boom, so you can just keep spamming those illusions out. It's going to be hard to clear them out, it's going to be hard to handle them, and it's going to be a fairly big nuisance. So I like seeing that. I'm hoping Pale Horse is not watching though, because if he is, he's going to do that a lot more, and I'd hate to see it in the NA qualifiers for sure.
Absolutely. Dreamer Soul just kind of stalking Yoe there, but Yoe's going to be just fine. He'll back himself out. But 1k net worthly between these two teams.
Radiant are scared.
Not really much to write home about for either side. Boom. Gonna start moving into that dire jungle again. Smoked up. Yoe and BDZ gonna be around. Yoe, right in, gets the curl off. Wants to try and go straight after that Grimstroke. With the kickback, they will get him. But it may cost the life of BDZ. In fact, never mind, the heals are out. BDZ, he's going to be alright. He'll roll out of there. Dreamer still, though, after the egg, they'll try to get that down, and they might just be able to get it as Makoto. He gets BDZ with the power shot from a mile away, and now Nico, he's been caught in the Underlord. He'll be the third one down for Execration.
And it's a strong trade coming out for Boom. It looked a bit rocky at the start.
Not over.
They dropped their sports, but well,
Yoe, he's going to be alright. He TP's out. Dreamer Soul, quick thinking, trying to find another pickoff for his team. FBZ now in the mid-tier 1 tower, trying to take that out. However, he forced the TP away as Palos and Yoe show themselves. And now Palos, gotta be careful, Makoto, he's around looking for a shackle. Really be able to find the opportunity though.
that's just a bit risky. He's still staying to farm though, and if Boom were feeling frisky, they could try, but they're already kind of out of the way. The one thing right now for Boom is that this mid-tier one's causing them issues. They really need to start to commit to take it out. We saw FBC try that. You need to cleanly take that tower out to have that control in the jungle they need to keep that movement up, to get the opportunities out.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Dive in. Alright. Take a bit of damage there from RR, but he's just fine. Top lane, BDZ currently being watched here by Cell. Makoto is going to show himself with those boots of travels up now.
Dire's structures are fortified.
BDZ going to be just fine to back out of there, and bit of a game of cat and mouse for the third game in a row. Definitely a much more action-packed kind of game, but you've hit that point now where you just don't really want to get caught out if you can avoid it, and I think for Execration especially, they really just want to buy Palace as much time as possible. He is working for that heart after all now. Once that heart's up, things get a little bit more silly.
Yeah, I'm just... It kind of feels weird when you see the Aether Lens and the Shard up and then a diversion towards the heart. It's not the all-in play, although.
What a TP down to the bot side, but the Dark Rift is there. RR, does he get into the taxi? He does. He'll make it out, and boom. They committed 4 TPs to show up for that fight. And they will get nothing for it. Execration, they will just keep running them around. Group up, they might go for a counter spot. In fact, never mind the smoke. They'll just run up to the high ground. No fear in the world, apparently.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I think for Boom's part, like that constant Dark Rift is always going to be an issue. They're going to need a couple of force stabs just to ensure that they get someone stuck there. They do manage to take the mid-tier one. They go into the Roche, and that is going to be a bit scary. Execration needs to be able to read that, but they don't have wards around the Roche area. This is not going to last long, and Boom's going to get a freebie.
It will. Seems like Execration. Surely they know this might be happening. Because in their position, they're way out of position to even try and contest this. So instead, they'll go after the bottom tier 2 tower. Palace will be able to clean that up. At BZ was TPing, but doesn't end up cancelling that one off. So Execration, they're an Aegis behind now. I wonder if they mind though. Like they just seem more than happy to let Palace keep farming. And there's your Octarine out now, John.
Oh, there you go. It's up and running. Pale Horse would be very proud to see this build coming up in a game 3. So it's going to be the heart afterwards. I think that makes a lot more sense. You don't want to go Ag Shard, just Aether Lens. You have to finish the entire package. This should give more presence for Palos. And also drops your Doppel cooldown as well, so you've got more survivability. Just have to be careful about being caught out.
Yo, Aeon just gonna save his life. However, Dreamer's Soul into the backside, onto RR, does burst down the Phoenix, and now the Soulbind will hold 2 of them down. Yo, he needs some help right now. The Dark Rift, the Uber, can they get him out? No! Yo, he's gonna essentially get kicked out before they start driving off. At the very least, they get everyone else out of there for Execration, but you lose your mid-puck, you lose your support Phoenix. Boom Esports, even with all the fun on Palos, they just don't really seem to care. They are still winning these engagements.
Just down to the playstyle of Appeal with Octarine, it's much more about the prolonged fights. It's about spamming out the Spirit Lance as often as possible with that 3-second cooldown. It's just that he's never in the right spot in these engagements. Like, Boom finds the bigger targets first. They find to squish your cores, they find the supports, and once you lose the numbers advantage, Execration's execution kind of falls flat. They need all the heroes on hand. They need to be able to link up that Pit of Malice, the Dream Coil, with the Egg going in the background, and we haven't seen that full-blown Wombo combo come out in a while. So if they can't pull that combination off, when it actually comes down to the 5v5, Boom just has much easier time pulling off what they want. They get Soul Bind up, they maybe get an Arena off, and they could easily just ignore the PL for the most part and just take care of everyone else first.
Field 1 does end up dropping. Boom seemingly very confident. Just keep moving across the map and keep trying to look for fights as they do find out Palos. Dream herself with the Blink Strike in. It's got to be careful as Palos does have some help around.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Engagement to come. But a 4k net worth lead remaining here for Boom. just so top heavy on the side of Execration. All your farm being invested into the PL and everyone else is just kind of poor.
Dire's turret has been killed.
Too much pressure on Palos. Trying to pull off this victory for his team.
Dire's
You know, I said I didn't think the Ricky would be able to kind of transition to the late game against the PL, but he's doing just that. Dream himself, no real issues here for himself. Now an MKB up on Makoto as well. It just makes it that much harder for Execration. There's so much damage being pumped out. It's Execration, they're just still unwilling to really go for a fight. BDZ, he's gonna roll in. Gets the coil off from Makoto. He just pops the BKB and fights back.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
This kind of item build up, I know we were talking, in fact, never mind that, because Dreamersaur's in now, onto Nico, the Unthought, he's going to try and run, in fact, they'll turn around now, back onto Dreamersaur, they did commit the buyback on BDC. Yoet can't really lock them down as he does not have the coil off, instead they'll go after Hyde. They'll be able to get a Mirana for their trouble. Speed easy, he'll try to chase for a bit more. Boom. Keep running away, Arena down. BKB popped, FBZ looking to go after BDZ, and that'll be a dieback. Flying up, they have committed the egg, they still want to continue this fight. Execration, they've got to be very careful as now the Spirit does come out. Shackles though, won't really land. Meanwhile on the backside, Dreamersaur, he's got RR under control. But he is going to be able to survive. Execration, they won't lose too much. Not too many casualties here for this dire side. They'll be able to back off.
Pretty safe from Boom. They don't really commit the double damage bottled up by Mikado, so they can look for an opportunity down the line, knowing that the egg's going to be down for a bit longer. And that's the key aspect of the combo of Execration. It takes a while. Like, it's a consistent 120-second cooldown, 2 minutes when you see it exposed. And that just gives you a lot of time for Boom if they want to look to make a play now. I mean, it's going to be up soon. It's already up. They've got the blink ready. BKB's about 10 seconds off for FBZ. They're retaking their position here in that top jungle, just keeping the ward game up. Lots of sentries coming out from Execration, so they can spot out mainly the Ricky. But for the most part, it's not leading to big opportunities here. They do have this big Ags on Yoe. So they've got the BKB piercing Dream Coil now. The stun is going to be a bit obnoxious, especially on the first reveal. You have to make use of that item in a big way. You need to find an opening, maybe wait a few more minutes, line that up with Roche, and take a fight, take the Roche next, and kind of go from there.
$6K net worth lead. I mean, Boom,
Are scanning.
we'll see if they can make this Ags work for them. I was kind of going back to the build-up of Palos in this PL, and the Octarine Shard, it's a good kind of build-up. It's not so bad or anything, but it doesn't feel like you have the front line for it right now, because it goes back to what you said. You are kind of reliant on being able to sit back and just spam it out over and over again. Hasn't felt like they've really had the chance to do that quite yet. Now, mid lane, who they found, it's going to be the puck. Yoe gets arrowed up. Arena is down as well as the Silence. They will blow him up. He just got the Ags as well, so they won't have the buyback available. It's now Makoto. He finds BDZ. This will be another dieback up from the Earth Spirit. They're trying to force stuff him away, but Dreamersaur, he'll have the damage in time.
Dire's middle tower.
Boom. Onto the mid-tier 2 now. They've got 2 heroes without buyback. They probably won't have enough time to go high ground, but will at least be able to get a tier 2 tower. In fact, Execration, thinking about starting a team fight here, will chip away at FBZ. I suppose you kind of need to do this with this Octarine Shards build up PL. Now it's going to be all about defending that high ground.
Yeah, here in a really awkward spot now for Execration. Like, their high ground defense is pretty good, and this is where the PL kind of shines with this build-up. You can just keep spamming out the wave with Spirit Lance. You can keep spamming it out on heroes from the high ground. No problems coming through. I think the big issue right now is there's a lot of evasion coming out from Boom. They've got the wind run, they've got the smoke screen on top of that, and the PL doesn't really deal with either one quite nicely. You can't really go MPB as your illusions don't benefit. A Bloodtorn might help, but that doesn't stop the misses at all. It just makes it tough in the smoke screen. So it's a really awkward situation where Palos can't really deal with these two heroes at this moment quite well. And it just makes it really hard for him to fully commit. We're seeing him just stay in the back, trying to spam out the lances, just not doing enough. And if the illusions can't hit and burn mana, then they're not really doing that much damage.
Execration now the ones to try and rush forward. They've got the heart up. It's a tanky Palos. That's for sure. Now fighting into that 9k deficit.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And both teams just kind of on the opposite side of the map. Not really engaging quite yet, but sooner or later Roshan's going to be up. Overwhelming Blink even up on FBZ now as they try to go onto that triangle. Dream Assault. Flicking his way back down. Bot as FBZ now is in. He's got the arena down. Again onto FBZ. They really just want to focus him out. And in fact, they even turn RR. Both your supports are already gone. Nico is going to try and tank through this damage. The Dark Rift is going to be committed and he should be able to get out, but he can't get Yoe out with him. He's left Yoe behind. Yoe will jump on his bike. He'll try to just ride his way out of this.
Oh.
Nice blink away though to the south. Very tricky stuff here from Yoe.
Radiant are scared.
Let's get himself out. So Boom, every time they fight, it just doesn't feel like Execration have anything to really throw at the side of Boom.
It needs to be Execration starting these fights if they want to win. They need to start with a Dream Coil. They need a Pit of Malice. They need the Egg. This could be the perfect spot to start that fight. Roche is being taken out by Boom, but because they're going for the outpost first, they kind of have the idea as to where everyone is, and that just frees up this Roshan. Ag Shard gonna drop on the ground. That could be pretty potent. They hand it to Dream Assault. They do. They give it to him. He's gonna have the Sleeping Dart, which is just so obnoxious to play against. Just gonna make it that much harder to get a lock on that Riki. Make it harder to get that initiation going as well. And it's just a tough game. 12k lead for Boom. The good news for Execration is that none of these fights are happening near the high ground, so there's no objective progression here for Boom outside of Roshan. They're gonna have to look for an opportunity to find a pick-off, hope they can go high ground from that, maybe force a buyback, and see where they go from there. I think you have to respect the fact that Execration with a Phoenix, with the Underlord, and with his PL build-up with Octarine Shard, high ground defense is really nice, so Boom can't quite force the issue. They're kind of forced to turtle on a bit more and just try to farm up with the map control they have on hand.
Top lane we go. Boom. Do they want to start slowly sieging away that tier 3 tower?
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Mimasol's thinking about it. Execration, they aren't there to defend this. Because Boom Esports don't really know that. They will now see Palos down at the bot lane, so they will get started on that tier 3 tower. Mimasol, even though he's playing Riki, is taking care of that tower rather fast. It's by himself. As soon as they see the rotations in though from Execration, that's going to be enough for them to just back out. It's unwilling to throw this game away.
It's just really disciplined right now from Boom. And you mentioned how fast the Riki pushes by himself. You know what else would make this push fast, Mike?
What's that, Joe?
A Meteor Hammer. Meteor Hammer Riki with the... I mean, it works with a dart, right? Like, that used to be the build-up for a while when everyone found this new craze, so... Yeah, that's one way to just get an indirect push, but they are doing a decent job. Like, this much chip damage on the top tier 3 is more than you'd expect against the lineup of Execration. So it's already a bit of a tight spot for them. Once that tower is out, it's just going to be constantly shoved in by Boom. They've got control of the top set of jungle camps, and they can keep farming like this, keep controlling up the map, keep scaling up. Palace is still big, it's just not big enough.
Well, Dream Coil has been committed. They've got a nice bit of malice to lock them down as well. It's going to be quite a long duration here. In fact, they've got the stun out onto the Ricky, but Dreamer, so he's going to be able to survive as FBZ does save the day, but he does lose the Aegis. Want to go back in. Flipping dart out. Yoan, a bit of danger, but does face shift. Just tries to get himself out. He will be alright. As the illusions, they do start to stack up. The shot can be very annoying, but Dreamer, so he'll get to work again. Back in onto BDZ. There goes your Earth Spirit. Right. Slowly being ticked down by these bouncing lances. Execration, they'll go again with the buyback sound from BDZ. Onto Makoto, but now he wants to tie back out with the focus fire. BDZ, the key is set to fall and does. Alos, he'll keep up the chase. He will be able to clean up Makoto. It's going to be about it for now, it seems. At least for Execration. Some 3 buybacks for that team fight.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the best result for Execration. They managed to kind of just get that team fight to pretty much a draw with the buybacks, and it just widens the lead for Boone. So they've got a 15k lead. They know 3 heroes are out of buyback. If they win the next fight here from Boom Esports side, they're going to be able to perhaps start looking at the high ground, fully force and commit onto a set of racks, clean up from there. Execration have to be a bit cautious going into the next set of fights. This nullifier coming out from Palos is pretty good. Like, that does cancel out at least the wind run coming through from our Wind Ranger from Mikado. So he's got one way to control that Wind Ranger out and prevent that evasion from being a massive issue. But at the same time, that's the only heroes he's really been targeting. Like, I don't know if he can really look towards the Ricky for the most part, considering how nimble the Ricky is with the tricks and Blink Strike. Doesn't have the best control to stop that from coming through. The Dream Cell's still relatively safe here, and once he gets this butterfly up on the Ricky, the damage output he has is going to skyrocket. Like, it's just going to play well with the Cloaking Dagger. It's going to give you so much more damage on the backstab, and it just makes it easier for them to burst these squishier targets. Every single time we see the Phoenix fall, every single time we see the Puck fall before anything else happens, the follow-up team fight from Execration just becomes really difficult, and that's why they're forced to buy back every single time. Because for them to have even a slight chance of winning that exchange, they need everyone in their team. So they've got to be a lot more cautious with their positioning going forward. And for Boom's part, they've just kind of got to abuse that mobility that Ricky has, that the Marana has. They abuse that overwhelming blink as well.
I don't know, FBZ. Arena going to be dropped. FBZ just going to try and run with the BKB and does make it out. Alos, though, is finally feeling confident enough to just kind of run into them. He's a rather tanky PL right now. At mid-tier 2 tower they go. Execration. You talk about them being the aggressors. While Makoto's down there, we're trying to get some work done. Himself. Not even going to allow the illusions to take the tier 2. But they'll get it in the end.
Takes a bit longer than you'd want. It's enough time for Mikado to be back. So if Boom wants to, they can force the issue, get some of those diebacks going. Roche is still a ways off, 3 minutes until we see that respawn timer. So didn't really have any objectives to go for right now on the map. It's going to have to be a pick-off game. Inching closer towards that butterfly here for Dreamosol. Believe he barely has enough cash, about 100 gold off. So it's just going to get that done. This will leave our Ricky without buyback. So it might be a bit risky for Dreamosol to go all in, but I think he's just confident that the evasion's going to be enough, that the damage output that they're giving is just way too big to pass up on, and I think you're going to have to watch yourself now. Once Dreamosol gets a good spot, tricks up, with a butterfly, this Ricky is just pain.
Boom. They've got the butterfly there. Smoke up, they're gonna try and commit for a fight.
Radiant are scanning.
They're running the real long way around though, I've got to tell you. They scan out some pure illusions, but they are just gonna be illusions. As well, be committed as well, but they'll realize they are not the real PL. Fortunately for Boom Esports, they are across the other side of the map. Execration just farming up that Radiant jungle. Yeah, no real rush for them, it seems. Every game matters, of course, in these qualifiers towards TI10. Really want to give any games away or drop any series if you can avoid it.
What I'd like to see right now from Execration is maybe a shift in farm priority. It feels like it's time to give Yoa more farm. Like going for this Desolator, going for the phase shift attack talents. You can become a right-click puck at this point and kind of take over, taking away from the utility tankiness on Palos. It could be one way to get that done. It's just that there's really not too much space, and Yoa doesn't even have the travel stuff to go around the map.
Oh, Yoa. Dumped there by Dreamer for a moment, but does end up backing out. It's just so hard to go high ground into Execration as well. Like, you know, we talk crap about this this PL shards, but it is really annoying to try and go high ground against it. It feels impossible, especially considering it's on such a low cooldown. Just 4 seconds of constant spam coming in. It's rather disgusting to say the least.
It is obnoxious, and you've got the 25 talent as well, right? Like Doppelganger's down to 4.5. So Palos has a lot of ways of zipping in and out of these fights. It's just that it really doesn't feel like we see him too much in these fights anywhere. Like they're applying pressure in the bot lane to counteract the pressure up top, but that top tier 3 from Execration's under more threat of falling soon compared to this bot tier 3 from Boom. Although there are 2 siege creeps, but Mikado should be able to sort of handle that by himself now. And the network gap is still not closing out for Execration. Still a steady 12k. It's still all going to Palos. They still need to redistribute towards Yoa and even towards Nico now if they want to get more scaling from these sort of cores, and they're still not able to really do that.
Yoa, well, gonna be committed, but Aeon Disc is out on Hyde. Meanwhile, on the backside, BDZ gonna roll right in onto Dreamer's Cell. Nullify is there. BDZ, he'll roll away. Meanwhile, the Soulmine in the middle of the team fight on the arena. RR once again gone before he can get the egg off. Onto Palos, who was trying to go onto XctN, but now he might be in danger. He'll go for a topple away. Try to kite this out, but a great shackles in Makoto. He's got him down. The PL is gonna drop Palos. He could buy back. There's just no point to committing it. There it is.
This is terrible timing as well. Roshan's up if they want to go. There's a refresh shard on the deck if they want to, but they're going to commit for that high ground first. Massive opening here for Boom, and they're going for more.
Nico, that's a lot of damage, Nico. You better run to the fountain, sir. That's getting taken down by Makoto. Max to be committed. They're going to try and fight this one out. They're going to be very careful on the side of Execration. And Boom Esports, for that matter, is FBZ. He's going to drop quite low. He doesn't have that arena right now, but he has it up in 2 seconds. He might be able to commit in just a moment. But now he's out of mana. Instead, the Soulbite is there. Shackles also out. It won't latch though. There's your double nullifier out onto the side of Execration. But none of it matters. It's now the Coil will lock down Makoto mid-TP. They will be able to take down the Wind Ranger. And of course, successfully defend high ground.
It just, again, cost him a couple of buybacks there. Palos is going to be down a buyback, so now he's got to be very cautious in the next engagement, but it was Boom kind of forcing the issue. They could have easily gone for Roshan instead, with a cheese, with Aegis, with a refresh, and now Execration has an opening to go there. No buyback on Mars. They're going to have to force the buyback in the Wind Ranger if they want to counteract this. And this could be a big turnaround for the side of Execration. Timely buyback there. Just going off cooldown, getting enough gold on Mars. Might be a big opening here if Boom actually catches them off guard.
You got the Bloodthorn now up as well on Palos. Be very, very dangerous as FBZ again has that arena up. It is he's going to roll right in. He does find the Grimstroke, and now Yoa's there. They'll lock down a couple, but it's not going to be enough. BDZ, he's lost his life. They'll be able to find XctN, but now Yoa's the one in danger. He'll try to orb away, but he's been caught up by the Yule Scepter. Do they have the control? A great spear out from FBZ should be enough, and will be, as they go onto the backside now. Icarus dive out, comes back in for the egg. Dreamer Cell, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, but he will blink strike out of there just in the nick of time. The Roshan is still up, still less than a half HP. Arrow will scout this out. Both teams going for a mini reset. They can come back in and go after this Roshan. It's such a slow process for Execration. You don't really have a right-click style PL that can just take this Roshan down. It's gonna be a bit of a slower Rosh for the side of the Dire if they can get it. And even then, Arena's back up now from FBZ. At Dream Coil on the side, they've caught FBZ, still lock him down first. Roshan still just perfectly fine. Instead they'll go after the Mars, but FBZ, he's surviving. Just barely, he might actually make it out, but no, they will eventually get him. Into the team fight they go as they go onto Makoto, but the shackles around. What? The Palos, they've got the PL. Look at the range on those shackles. It won't matter for Palos, he'll survive for another day. Yoe jumps back in, hides there. Everyone just chasing down the Death Phantom Lancer. Palos somehow still alive. Makoto though, he'll keep up the chase. Is it gonna be enough? Palos still out of there, but Dreamercell, he'll get to work. He'll find another, hides down, but he'll buy back. And now Makoto is back in on Palos. Palos though, he'll turn around to go for a fight, but it won't matter. Dreamercell does take him out, and that's 4 heroes down without buyback.
Oh my god. This is just so close from both sides. This Roshan's going to enable Boom to just go to the high ground. No buybacks for a minute at the least, and a minute 40 for the big chorus. This is scary. Boom can just go for the cleanup, go for the mega creeps if they want, and they're going to be perfectly fine. They've got the numbers advantage for a full minute. If they manage to even take out this Phoenix, if RR even just dares to show up in the defense, Execration's going to be stuck in a very awkward spot. And you're seeing the mango feeding coming out. Dream itself just popping a hell of a lot of mangoes, reminding us of Mango March. Good old days, Mike.
Mango March. Going strong, John. Mango March is already, got his slot at TI. That's to him if he is watching the stream. Dream Assault. Get the tier 3 tower. Have they realized the buybacks aren't there? Or do they not have faith that they can take the tier 4 towers down in time? Seems like maybe without Makoto, they can't go for the tier 4, so instead, they'll try to get a couple racks while they can. And it should be a minimum of 2. Now Execration slowly starting to respawn up, but they do understand they're probably going to be left with one lane of barracks here. Be enough for Boom. Get what they came for, they'll back out.
I mean, 2 lanes of super creeps is going to put a big dent on Execration's farm potential, but at the same time, they've got pretty good ways of clearing it out. Underlord, even the Phoenix to a certain extent, the PL with the land spam, a puck, they can kind of clear out these waves. So it's not a major threat in terms of state of game. I think it's more of preventing them from having the opportunity to build some counter farm up. And the big issue for Execration is still this farm distribution. Palos is still too front-loaded with all the gold in the world. Yoa is not allowed to finish up his own build-up. Neither is Nico. And you need these cores to step up now, especially this puck. Like, no travels up. He can't split push for his team. Going for the refresh instead of damage. Kind of gave up in the Desolator plan with a phase shift attack. So it's more about the Dream Coil now for Yoa. It's just not coming out fast enough, and they need more items on these other cores. And as long as the PL is the one gaining the majority of that gold, this issue is just going to prevail for Execration if they can't split this farm up.
Boom. Looking for that final lane of barracks now. It's not going to be too easy going for this PL on the high ground, but they definitely have what it takes. We've seen it before. Execration, of course, they can just hold high ground for quite a long time here if they so wish. I suppose if you Boom Esports, if you really want to, you can wait to that 60-minute mark. Get those tier 5 items up, John.
Yeah, make it spicy if you wish. Could work against them if some good items come out for Execration, of course. I think, although, looking at it, I usually say, like, the one that resets your items every 25 seconds would be pretty darn nice, but they're not even relying on a BKB on their PL. So it might not be the most impactful, but maybe something like an X-Machina would be good. I don't know if it's enough to turn it for Execration when you're 25k behind. They're bigger, factors at work there beyond just items at the 60-minute mark. And I think the state of the game won't shift too much for them if they wait out for tier 5s. They just got complete control of the map, although Execration are dipping out with the smoke here.
Yeah. Right into hide an FBZ. FBZ, he gets the BKB off, but he is still caught in place. He'll try to go for the fight onto Nico. Meanwhile, the rest of the team trying to join in. Makoto, he's showing up now on the Wind Ranger. In Execration, they pop the Dark Rift. They want to get out, and that's exactly what they'll do. Even though they initiate the team fight, they just don't have the damage.
It's just the PL though. It's not enough to burst down. Your puck has no gold. I mean, look at Yoe. Witchblade, BKB, Aeon Disc, Blink. That's a very poor puck at 55 minutes in. You need so much more to be effective right now, and it's just this farm distribution. And we've seen this in a couple of games already from different teams where they front load onto that big core all too much when it's really time to split that farm up.
This was RR's Aeon Disc as well. Very unfortunate stuff as now Shackles won't latch onto Palos. How do you kill the guys on Boom now? You've got the Aghanim Scepter on Makoto as well, so he's got 2 charges of the Wind Run. They just haven't got the answers. And it does go back to what you said, the item build-up just isn't working out right now for Execration as they do move in again. Makoto with the Focus Fire, gonna get started on the range racks, and there's your Soulbind being committed. Yoe gonna move in, gets a nice curl off, but where's your damage? Aeon Disc gonna be proc. He'll break the leash and just back as FBZ now. He's in. RR already going down to the Phoenix. He'll try and focus down Nico, but you'll see Palos trying to man up against FBZ. I say man up, but there are plenty of illusions to help out. There's just no damage being pumped out. FBZ's just fine as Makoto. He'll make his way in now, but he's forced to BKB in front of himself as Palos will keep rushing forward onto Kescu. But again, they are just tickling them. BZ, he's out of mana, and that means no damage is left for Palos. They might just turn around now, understanding which one the real one is. He'll try to doppel away. There's your Dark Rift there. The Uber trying to get him out and does. And immediately the TP back in from Palos. Let me at him.
Oh,
So nobody dies, apart from RR. And that'll be enough.
Yeah, they take out the range racks, just a melee racks left here standing for Execration away from Mega Creeps. And they had to kind of pull back because their pure force were under attack from these 2 shoved in waves on mid and top. And for Boom, they're satisfied. They know that they can't die, and their farm distribution's a lot closer, so you're seeing progression on that Wind Ranger, progression on Marcel, though. Bit of a chase, not quite enough.
Moonlight popped. Palos. Oh, Shackle lands. They've got him. They have got him. Palos. He has buyback. Execration, they're not out of it yet. Palos can commit a buyback, but he will have to right here, right now.
He has to come in. He can't hold off for this. They're going to get Megas either way, and now you've got this Ags up in FBZ, so his damage trap is great.
We go, they roll in, armed to Green Missile and Makoto, but Green Missile, he's just manning up on that egg, does take it down, so RR, he's gone already. FBZ now, he'll turn around, back on a BDZ, who's dropping quite low. Palos trying to get something done, but he's just trying to run now. He does not want this fight any longer. He needs a reset. However, Nico will lose his life in the process, so Palos just trying to run out. And the rest of Boom, they rejoin. They're happy to go again. Qualifier is there, FBZ, he's going to be locked down. A lot of damage being taken this time around, but it's the 4-star out of there as Makoto will get to work on the range racks, or rather melee barracks, and does find it. And now you have the Megas up. The arena is going to be dropped FBZ. He's out of mana. He can't really commit a spear. At least he does look quite pretty in his own arena as Palos just ignores him, goes after Hyde instead. Again, FBZ trying to be such a nuisance, blocking all this damage, fighting back with his shield.
Oh my god.
Palos, he's trying to get the damage out, but where's the damage? Where is it? FBZ, there we go. He'll put the shield down, he'll show some mercy. Meanwhile, Soulbind going to be thrown out, but the TP away will be successful. It's Boom. They have not really left the Dire base yet.
Yeah, they've still got a pretty good position here. They did buy back in a couple of heroes though, so Boom maybe have to consider playing safe. They got the mega creeps up, Execration. They can still shove against that. It's just a lot harder, and Boom could just wait for the next rush. A minute and a half. You've got tier 5 items.
there
Look
we
at that
go.
giant ring coming out. Isn't that wonderful? And a
What do you
Stygian
give it to?
Desolator.
Oh, perfect. And a ballista. All right.
Oh my god.
So the perfect items for everyone then. Fair enough. Stygian Desolator, I
Nice
imagine,
rock.
to Dreamer's Cell. Ballista, surely to Makoto. And then Giant's Ring, maybe just give it to FBZ. In fact, he's got it on the way right now.
It's,
I mean, Mars's model was a bit small, right?
I can't wait to see that with a BKB pop. That'd be nice.
Alos. Run with that ninja gear. Smoke gonna be broken. They are watching him like a hawk. There's your Giants Ring out onto FBC, John. Big boy. And meanwhile, in the dire base, looks like Yoa's been caught out already. Now the Soulbind's there. They've got the Earth Spirit BDZ. He's barely going to make it out with his life intact. They are on for the Ancient. In fact, they are on for Palos. The PL being caught out again. He can try his best to survive this. And he will. No, Palos. They call the DD. He's back to farming. Palos, he needs a bit more. It is all over.
Oh, yeah.
Boom Esports, they managed to get a 2-1 victory over Execration in the end. What a series it was. Boom, they'll be able to continue through this upper bracket, and Execration be going down to the lower bracket, but they aren't out of the qualifiers yet.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot closer than I think a lot of people expected. Boom were challenged by Execration, so it's a good showing from them. They're not out of it, as you mentioned. They've still got a chance in the lower bracket, but Boom, looking set up. Do you get to move on in the upper bracket? They're going to be feeling good about themselves.
Absolutely. Of course, we are going to head to a very short break, and right after that break, we'll be back with the panel to discuss what happened overall in this series. We'll see you soon.